Hello everyone, I'm Bhumika Vyas. I'm final year information technology student from MVP's KBT COE College. And today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about use case diagram. So let's start. The contents of this video will include introduction of use case diagram, their purpose, components in use case diagram, use case relationships, application of use case diagram, and I will also show you how to actually create a use case diagram using StarUML. So introduction. Use case diagram is one of the dynamic or behavioral diagrams that UML offers. UML is Unified Modeling Language, and behavioral or dynamic diagrams are when you actually create a model of a system and you want to know the dynamic behavior of the system, means what is actually happening behind the scenes or when the system is actually running. That will understand using behavioral diagrams. So use case is one of the type of dynamic diagrams, and there are many such diagrams like activity, sequence diagram, but in this video I'll show you about use case diagram. So it is used to show the interaction between internal and external factors of a system, and these features or factors are also known as the actors of a system. So basically, when a user interacts with a system, that is shown in the form of a relationship between user and the use cases in the use case diagram, and we'll show and we'll understand that in detail later in this video. So let's see the purpose of use case diagram. So use case diagrams are used to gather the requirements of a system. You can say functional or design requirements of the system. So they provide the simplified and graphical representation of what the system must actually do. And then you get an outside view of a system. Like outside view is basically a user's perspective of how the system is working. So we can identify external and internal factors which are influencing the system using use case diagram, and that can be used as a good communication tool for stakeholders. So the components of use case diagram. First is the actor. So actor is someone who interacts with the system functionalities, and this system functionality is nothing but what we call a use case in a use case diagram. So you can be a user, like a customer is an actor, and you are trying to interact with the login module of a railway reservation system, for example. Then you, a customer, will be the actor, and the login module will be the use case. So actors triggers the use cases, and actor have a responsibility towards the system. That is, they actually provide the input to the system and then they expect outputs from the system. There are primarily two types of actors, a primary and a secondary actor, and we'll see that when I'll show you the diagram. So this is the representation of actor in a use case diagram. Second component is nothing but the use case. So this represents the system function or the operations that a system will perform. So actors are linked to the respective use cases, and that will show that which actor performs or interacts with which system function. And the representation of a use case is this ellipse. And as I told, that actors are linked to the respective use cases, so that communication link is nothing but this line we used to show. Like this is a student is the actor, and this is the use case, that is student will borrow books. So that is shown using this communication link, and this link may be association. So next system component is the boundary of the system. So this is shown using this rectangle. So whatever is included inside this rectangle will be nothing but the entire system. That is, entire system will be shown within this rectangular box. For example, when you are using an ERP system, so there are different modules, so payroll, personal, accounting, etc., and each module can have their own system boundary. So in an ERP system, a payroll module will have its own system boundary. For example, accounting module can have its own system boundary. So that is when the systems are more complex. Then we'll see use case relationships. So different use cases have share different kinds of relationships. So that is nothing but the dependency between the use cases. So we'll see there are two types of relationships between use cases, include, and second one is the extend. So as you can see in this representation, there is include relationship shown, and you can see that it has this angular brackets. So it is nothing but a stereotype symbol, and this identifies an include relationship in a use case diagram. So it is depicted using this directed dotted line having an arrowhead ahead, and this arrow will be from the parent use case towards the child use case. So this place order here will be the parent use case and login will be child use case. So what this means is, suppose you are placing an order, and suppose you are considering a food delivery system. So there is a use case of placing order. So to place an order, you need to log in into the system. So it is a compulsory thing. So this place order will include a login function as well. So you have to compulsorily do this operation. That's when we use the include operation or include relationship, sorry. The second use case relationship is extend, as you can see in this representation, and it is also shown using this stereotype extend. So here it is, the arrow is actually same as in the include case, but the difference is that here the arrowhead will go from the child use case towards the parent use case. Yeah, so, and it is also an additional operation, that is this is not a compulsory thing or a function that we need to perform. For example, when you are doing a login into a system, so login module may cause an invalid credentials error. So that may not be the case every time. So it's not a compulsory thing like in case of include. And we'll see that, or you'll understand that when I'll show the example. So there's one more important type of relationship in a use case diagram, and it is nothing but generalization. So generalization is used to show parent or child relationship between these actors, and representation is this directed arrow with a triangle arrowhead. So we use generalization when we want to generalize the actors as a single actor entity. For example, consider a hostel management system. So in a hostel there may be different types of students, like different branch students like art student, science student, commerce student, etc. But it's not necessary that it's not feasible that will show each and every actor in a diagram. So what we do is we make a common entity or common actor which is this student, and then we'll generalize them. So this student basically represents every type of student, like art student and science student. Okay, so now we'll see the application of use case diagram. As I have mentioned before, use case diagram is basically used during the requirement analysis phase of creating a system, and it is useful to provide high level design. So why high level design? Because use case diagrams will only help us understand the actors and their functionalities or requirements, but it won't help us to understand the implementation details. So it is basically high level implementation design, it will tell us. We can say that it gives us a summary or the context of the system, and that's why it is a very good communication tool for stakeholders. This can be considered as, for example, you want to show your model of your system to the stakeholders, then use case diagrams will be very efficient, because we can make the stakeholders understand about the summary of the system, or how the model will actually work, without diving deep into the implementation, which the stakeholders might not quite understand. So they'll get an overview of your system. Then use case diagrams are also used for reverse and forward engineering, but the application is not much. It means that in forward engineering, use case diagrams are used to make the test cases, while in reverse engineering, they are used to prepare the requirement details from the existing application. Alright, so now we'll see how to actually create use case diagram in a application called as StarUML. So I've already opened this on my desktop, and when you open it, you will see the screen like this. We'll let it be default approach, and we'll click OK. And you will easily find the StarUML application on the net, and you can install it. So on this side of the screen, we can see the different diagrams that are available that we can draw in this StarUML. So here we see use case diagram. So when I double click on it, and you can see this main. So when I double click there, we'll immediately see that use case toolbox is represented on this side, and we can see that we have actors, use cases, association, generalization, and all that we use in the use case diagram. So now let us consider an example to draw use case diagram for hostel management system. So first, the steps that we have to follow for drawing use case diagrams are, we have to decide the actors, which are the actors in our diagram. Then we decide the roles and functionalities. Then we basically decide the relationship among this use case, the use cases and the actors. So in hostel management system, the actors can be rector, warden, students, mess, and security. So for example, we'll consider these examples. So we'll select actor, and you can see that they provide a default name, and I'll edit that to student. So that is one actor. The next actor, as I mentioned, can be a rector. So I write here rector. Then we have a warden. Then we have mess. So remember that actors are not necessarily a person, but it can also be a system. So here we say that a mess is an actor. That doesn't mean that mess is a person. Then we have security. So now we have the actors decided. Let me make this a bit bigger. Okay. Now, as I said in the PPT, that student can be from different branches. So here we'll actually apply the concept of generalization. The students can be from IT branch, or let us consider a previous example like science student. Another can be a commerce student. and one more I'll consider it as art student. So now we have our different branches students. So now we'll generalize them as the student actor. So we can see here the generalization symbol, and remember that it goes from the child to the parent. The arrow goes from the child to the parent. So this is how it will be, and this error may occur sometimes because we didn't connect it correctly. So now it's done. Okay, so we have done the generalization part here. Next, as I told, we decide the use cases. So the role of a student in this hostel management system, we can consider, is to maintain the discipline in the hostel. So I'll select the use case and I'll make it. And so remember that it's better if you put a 2 here. So that represents the operation basically. So to maintain discipline. Then the next use case can be to return to the hostel before the given time limit. So we can say that it comes under to maintain the discipline function, right? So, and that is a compulsory part. So as I said, that compulsory parts are shown using the include stereotype. So let us put here to be present, or I can say to return to hostel before time, or I can say deadline time. Okay. And it comes under to maintain discipline operation. So I'll give this include function, and include goes from the parent to the child. So you can say this include has been shown here. Another operation that might be included here is to, okay, I think that's enough for the student. Then if we consider the rector, then the rector's job or responsibilities includes to appoint and train the warden. That's the function of rector. So I'll write here to appoint and train the warden. That's rector's function, and we'll show the relationship between the corresponding actor and that use case using this association link. And I'm sorry, I forgot to connect student with the use case or the responsibility of student. Okay, so that we have seen. Another responsibility of a rector might be to keep record of the rooms and the students. So I'll add another use case here to keep record of rooms, and we'll connect rector with this use case. Okay, so Now we'll see for warden. The responsibilities of warden is again to report to the rector. And another would be to check the welfare of students. And we connect them again through association. And to check the welfare of students might have other included responsibilities like to maintain sanitization. So if I say to maintain sanitization, so that comes under the welfare of students. To maintain sanitation, so that will be include part of this. And we can say that it might also include to check regularly on students' health, but that's not a compulsory or a compulsion for warden that the warden should regularly check the health of the students. So that is basically where we use extend function, as I've told you in the video. I'll make it, because it's not a compulsion for the warden to do that. That's why we include that in the extend stereotype. So now I think you'll be getting the gist of how we actually draw this. Yeah, so another use case is for security. So security's work is to report to the rector. Oh yeah, I've already had this use case. So remember that we can have two actors having an association with the same use case because it's the same function. So security will also report to the rector and warden will also report to the rector. So we are showing association from both of these actors to this use case. And to maintain security is his basic function. So I think I've covered all. Now mess is remaining. So mess would also be to report to the rector. So you have to show association there as well, because rector is the main handler in the hostel management system. That's why this case is there. And the main functionality of this mess is to provide good hygienic food. Hygienic food. Okay, and we'll show the association. So that's how basic use case diagram is. And about the concept of primary and secondary actors. So primary actors are those which actually benefit by interacting with the system. So here student is a primary actor because he is actually benefiting from this hostel management system. And then we have secondary actors. So here mess can be considered as a secondary actor, because what secondary actor means is that they are external systems which actually support the system in accomplishing the primary task. So MES is actually supporting this hostel, so we can consider MES as a second reactor. And after completing this diagram, remember to make a system boundary. So I selected the system boundary option, and we can see here, let's adjust it, and only the use cases are included inside the system boundary. Actors remain outside. Okay, and then here we have an annotation option. So we'll select this text and put it here, and we write hostel management system is already there. So in this way you can see that the system boundary also has a name of the entire system. Okay, thank you for watching the video.